I'm Emma Easterbrook and this is Practicing Human 360 Health. Today, I'm in the hot seat. I wanted to talk about what I call 360 health and how everything we consume has a direct impact on our health and well-being. In my clinic, I have the privilege of talking to lots of different people, and they very much open up to me about all aspects of their lives. I started to notice lots of common conversations and concerns about health and life generally, and it got me thinking, and so my podcast was born. Practicing Human 360 Health is exactly what it says on the tin, because we're all just practicing being human, really. From a selfish point of view, I want to find out how to live a long, healthy and able life, and I want everyone I know to know that too. And then my aim is to spread that knowledge further to whoever's interested. If it helps one other person, then that makes me happy. I've had guests on this podcast series talking about different aspects of health, and I'll continue to do that to build up an encyclopedia of knowledge for all to access. I want to share this knowledge in a simple and uncomplicated way. My clinic is called Star Treatment and it's in Henfield in Sussex. And there I offer DNA testing, IV vitamin drips, B12 intramuscular injections and advanced facials. I'm very much for the belief that we need to look after ourselves in order that we can begin to think about looking after other people. And I think a lot of people come to see me really struggle with that, thinking it's a selfish thing to look after yourself first. But if you don't look after yourself first, it's pretty obvious you're not going to be able to look after anybody else. Anyway, check out what I do on Instagram, which is @StarTreatment24. I've been really interested in health for a number of years. Like many, when I was younger, I thought I was invincible. And as I got older, I've seen friends with ill health, some very sadly not with us today, and some gladly that are. I started reading books and listening to podcasts and talking to clients, friends and family about health. I kept on hearing this phrase, biohacking. For those of you that don't know, biohacking is living as naturally as possible. That means whole foods, supplements, time in nature, breath work, exercise, reduced stress, finding peace and community. There was a study of the blue zones. These are places around the world where people regularly live beyond 100 years old in good health in parts of Japan, Italy, Costa Rica and California. And when those places were studied, although their diets are different, they eat whole food, locally sourced food, their life has purpose, they exercise regularly, have low stress, and they have a strong sense of community. Basically, it's all about balance. So this is where 360 Health comes in. Someone may well exercise regularly, but if they aren't having all the nutrients and vitamins their body requires, it will affect their performance mentally, physically, emotionally, and their susceptibility to illness and disease. Equally, someone who eats a good balanced diet but has a constant stress and sedentary lifestyle would be at risk of illness and disease too. Longevity is shaped by how you live with every area of your life and finding balance. That's everything you consume, nutritionally, how and how much you move, your stress levels, who you hang out with, what you watch, what you listen to. So let's start at the beginning. Your DNA. I've recently completed a course on DNA and it was fascinating. I didn't pay much attention at school, so I apologise if you did and you know all of this. DNA is something that's individual to each and every single human being. So although it's said that we share up to 99.9% of the same DNA as other human beings, the 0.1% is what sets us apart individually from each other. And that can be hair, skin, eye colour, it can be the shape of your body, it can be your level of athleticism, your susceptibility to disease and illness. It's really important. I think it's very much the future of medicine to find out your personalised DNA in order to prevent illness and disease rather than fall ill and look for cures. Don't get me wrong, if my leg's hanging off, I'm going to the hospital and to get it sorted. So DNA, in basic terms, your DNA is the instruction manual for how your body personally works. It doesn't change, so it's a one-time test. It's not going to tell us if we're ill right now. It's going to tell us the efficiency and inefficiencies our body has. So with that knowledge, we can live optimally and hopefully prevent illness and disease. It looks like a helix shape, which looks like a twisted ladder. So if you imagine each rung of that ladder is a genetic code, the genetic code is a mixture of 4 nucleotides. That's thymine, adenine, cytosine, and guanine. So each gene or rung of the ladder is an instruction for how to make proteins and RNA. RNA controls gene expression, more about that later. Human beings are mostly made up of proteins. It's our hair, it's our muscle. Holding the genes or the rungs of the ladder in place are amino acids. There are 20 amino acids linked together and they form proteins that run your body. I think it's interesting to mention gene expression as well, regulated by RNA. This is so clever. It's the ability of the gene to switch itself on and off. So for instance, when we stop growing, when we become adults, that's the gene knowing it has to switch itself off. Or when our hair and our nails are growing, that's those genes knowing they've got to be kept switched on. It can also spread disease. So once again, it's so important to support our bodies well in order to prevent disease and maintain health and live optimally. We get our DNA from our mum and our dad. So one set from our mum and one set from our dad. So that's what makes you unique in every single way. So you might ask what happens when people have identical twins. So they start off with the same DNA, but as they develop, that changes and they develop their own DNA different to their identical twin. DNA is constantly renewing and making new DNA in order to support life, copying itself over and over. So that's why it's so important to be healthy. So when each DNA copies itself, it makes a strong copy. When that process slows down and eventually stops, that's the loss of life. There are trillions of cells in your body and your DNA is within every single one of those cells. There's a whole world of work that's going on within each and every cell and they make up all parts of our bodies. Another thing I kept hearing about was methylation. It's how your body processes nutrients and vitamins and it's essential to sustain life. So to explain methylation, I want you to imagine an architect's drawing of a house. So the outline of the house, the roof line, etc., is your personal DNA. Then imagine we put a perspex sheet over the top of that, and that shows all the pipes going around the inside of the house. This represents how you personally methylate. So ideally, we want all the pipes to flow with no blockages. So all of the systems in your body work efficiently with your nervous system, cardiovascular, muscular, skeletal, digestive, lymphatic, endocrine, urinary and reproductive system. When you have your DNA test done, it tells you any gene variants you may have. So this would be any blocked pipes in your methylation. Once you know what they are, you can supplement and combat any blockages or improve the flow. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what goes on during methylation in the body, but it produces methionine and homocysteine. And with the help of nutrients and proteins, methionine converts to homocysteine, then back into methionine, which goes on with the help of vitamin B12, folate, B6, and that goes on to make SAMe, capital S, capital A, capital M, lowercase e, SAMe, which is a methyl donor that is responsible for gene regulation, brain chemistry, liver function and joint health, so an important one. Methylation, or the pipes in your house aren't flowing, homocysteine can back up and this can cause massive problems for your body. It's responsible for the biggest killer on the planet, heart disease. It builds plaque in the arteries, known as atherosclerosis, narrowing the arteries, decreasing blood flow and making the heart work harder. It's known as the silent killer. Excess homocysteine is responsible when the neuropathways get clogged with plaque, leading to other horrible diseases that lead to low cognitive function like Alzheimer's. Excess homocysteine is also responsible for development of cancers too, so it's very important to keep your pipes in your house, your methylation flowing. I did a gut health course recently. It's very entry level and basic because I'm not a nutritionist at all, but I'm very interested, and I always knew that gut health was really important, but I didn't know how important it was until I'd done this course. So everything that you put into your body, that you eat or drink, goes through your digestive system and ends up in your gut. And your gut feeds every system of your body. So if you're not putting in good stuff, then your body isn't going to perform optimally for you. If your gut gets all the right nutrients and vitamins, everything gets distributed to all the right places. Closely connected to methylation is detoxification, which is vital to good health. Our immune system makes free radicals to kill pathogens. Pathogens cause disease. We can also form free radicals from external sources like IV light, pollution, smoke, pesticides, and some drugs or chemicals. In order to eliminate free radicals, we need our little superheroes, antioxidants. These can be found in vitamin C, E, and A. So eating foods high in these vitamins and taking supplements is of maximum benefit to us. Another response our body has to protect us is inflammation. You've got two different sorts of inflammation. You've got acute inflammation, which is the sort of inflammation that's good. So say you have a workout or you go for a really long walk and the next day you've got sore muscles. That's good inflammation because it's your body mending itself. What you don't want is chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation can lead to very serious disease, and that's something that can show up on your DNA test to see if you have a predisposition to inflammation. Also tested in DNA is lipid metabolism. Lipid metabolism is how your body breaks down fats to use for energy and how it stores extra fat to use later. So your triglycerides are your fat storage for energy, and HDL and LDL are your good and bad cholesterol. These can have a good and bad influence over your heart health. Oxidative stress is tested as well. It happens when there's too many harmful molecules, so the free radicals again, in your body, and not enough antioxidants to neutralise them, which can damage cells. Stress is caused by pollution and smoke, radiation and sunlight, infections and inflammation, poor diet, stress and lack of sleep. Bone health means keeping bones strong and healthy so they can support the body, protect organs and prevent fractures. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is the power of our minds. It keeps coming up in my podcast, and this is generally considered a bit woo-woo. In my podcast with Georgina, we talked about journaling and manifestation. With Tina, we talked about counselling and EMDR. And with Sophie, we talked about hypnosis. All of them talked about the power of the brain over the body. Basically, the body believes what the brain tells it, and there's science to back this up. Let's do a little experiment together now. Imagine you have a lemon in front of you on a chopping board. It's bright yellow. Imagine cutting it in half now. And as you do that, its citrus juices spring out of it. And then we're going to cut it into quarters. And all that, more of that bitter citrus juice comes out again. Now hold that quarter in your hand and put it in your mouth and bite down. Is your mouth watering? Is it filling up with saliva? So despite the fact you can't see, touch or smell that lemon, your brain has made your body believe there's one there. That's how powerful your mind is. So if you tell yourself something negative or positive, your brain will tell your body. So please bear that in mind and notice how you speak to and about yourself. With Lou and Valerie, I spoke about the importance of movement and exercise for mental and physical health. Movement and exercise also releases dopamine, which is our happy hormone. It's so important to note that movement and exercise benefit our lymphatic system. This system runs throughout our bodies, fighting off bacteria, viruses and disease and filtering waste. And if it doesn't have a pump like our heart does. So we need to move in order for the lymphatic system to work efficiently. And lymphatic drainage massage is also really effective with that as well. I spoke with Billy about the power of the arts, about creativity and friendship and the role they play in making our worlds richer and how they build communities and communication. So even if you don't consider yourself to be an arty, creative person, I bet you've got a favourite song or a film or a book or a painting or a photograph or even a person that you love talking to or a recipe that you follow, whether it be one your grandmother taught you or Delia Smith or Jamie Oliver. I think it's also really important to point out when I spoke to Joe about the importance of our healthcare system, the NHS, that absolutely is essential in times of need, and I'm personally really grateful for it. If we have an accident or have a medical emergency, the NHS is there to help us. But we can help take the weight off of the NHS by taking personal ownership of our health and looking after ourselves, preventing illness and disease as much as we possibly can. I also spoke with Jo about hormones, which is important to be aware of. And speaking as a woman in her 50s, I think it's vital to take ownership of our hormone imbalances in order to live a full and content life. We've all got stress in our lives. That's not going to go away, but it's learning how to cope with that and how to get balance in our life. So it's all about balance. It's that 360 health thing that I keep banging on about, but I'm really interested in it and I'll keep falling down these rabbit holes and I'll keep sharing what I find out with you. I think it's interesting to bear in mind that our genes account for 20 to 30% of our longevity. The remaining 70 to 80% is influenced by our lifestyle. Once again, what we eat, how much we move, our purpose, our stress levels, and our community. If you'd like to find out more about having a DNA test, get in touch via Instagram or my website. Details will be attached. If you have a test, it's really simple and straightforward. I arrange for a pinprick test to be sent to your home. It's all made really easy, and then you can arrange a courier to collect your sample. All the instructions are in the sample box, and it couldn't be easier. Your sample is then delivered to a lab I partner with called Nordic Lab. Your report is emailed to me 3 to 4 weeks later, and we can arrange an appointment in my clinic or go through your results, and we can talk about it over Zoom. I can suggest any lifestyle changes that would be of benefit to you and point you in the right direction, for which supplements will help you achieve your own personal optimal health. So this is my DNA report. So this is the sort of thing that you get. It's really interesting. It's really well clearly laid out. It's called your DNA core. So it's all of the stuff that we've discussed already, but also it does an assessment on your sporting ability and how you can optimise that, and also your diet, not necessarily to lose weight, but what your body would really benefit from, and the way it works really efficiently as well. So it's just it's a great report. So what do we need to consume for optimal health? A healthy balanced diet and supplements to encourage flow. So that's folate, B12, B complex, TMG, vitamin C, E, A, K and D3. B12 is important for supporting human life and essential for methylation. B12 is found in meat and dairy. It's really normal to be deficient in B12. Deficiency can show itself in so many ways: fatigue, anxiety, trouble sleeping, depression, pins and needles, low libido, to name but a few symptoms. I offer B12 intramuscular injections in my clinic, and they very much level out these symptoms and can feel like a booster. Get in touch and we can find out more. B6 is essential, but it's best to take a B complex, as that covers more areas of your health. I personally have a monthly vitamin B complex IV drip, which I swear by. I do it at my clinic, so once again, get in touch. DMG is a methyl donor. It lowers homocysteine levels, supports liver function and helps cell maintenance. All vitamins you buy should be methylated. It just means your body doesn't have to convert them to be methylated, and then your body can get on with putting them to good use, optimising your health. But it's about doing all of the things to achieve optimal health. Think Blue Zone. Think about everything you consume in every way: what you eat, how and how much you move, your stress levels, your purpose, your community, because after all, we're all just practicing humans wanting to achieve 360 health. Right, so now we're at the part of the show where I would normally ask my guests one good thing, one bad thing, one funny thing. And the way this came about was when I used to pick my children up from school, I say, "What did you do?" "Don't know." "What happened?" "Don't know." They couldn't remember. So I developed this little game that was, they had to tell me one good thing, one bad thing, one funny thing. And so I now normally do it on my guests, but I thought, well, I'll do it on myself. And I was thinking, what the hell am I going to say? Because there's some things that I can talk about and some things that I really don't think I should on camera. So, yeah, good thing, easy as it sounds, it would have to be my family, my friends. I'm absolutely blessed. I really am. I've lucked out. I'm just surrounded by absolutely brilliant people, and I'm really grateful for it. A bad thing might be a bit deep, but what's going on around the world at the moment just really makes me feel very unhappy. It's such a shame. I wish that there wasn't all this suffering. I really do. Funny thing, now there was something I did think of, but I definitely couldn't say about that, because it's something my friend Sasha and I were laughing about. When she listens to this, she'll know. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about a story that's something to do with my husband and I. So he started taking me skiing when I was about 27, and so I was quite new to skiing, and he was, he's a much better skier than I am, much more experienced. So we went with some friends of ours, and me and Michelle went down the red run, and Grant and Paul went down the black run. So Michelle and I went down the bottom, because the two runs met at the bottom. And we're thinking, where are they? I said, we must have been really slow. They must have gone and done another run. Anyway, they both turn up, and my husband Grant, he's got like ice, he's got snow like in his helmet. And I was like, what's happened to you? And he went, oh, don't. I said, come on. And Paul then told me the story. Basically, Grant had gone down this black run. They had a slalom for for the Olympic skiers. Grant decided he was going to do that. He came off his skis and he went down the whole thing head first. That's why he had ice down his helmet. So he was completely humiliated, and we were like chuckling away about it. Anyway, then Grant and I skied off on our own, leaving our friends to do their little ski. And then we got the gondola back up the mountain. We get into the gondola and Grant's still a bit moody from what's happened. And I've got this brand new ski outfit on. This instructor gets on, he sits beside me and he looks at me and he says, skimmel, really, really, really flirty. And I couldn't understand why Grant was giving so many daggers. I thought, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, turns out that that's the guy that had seen him go head first down the black. He'd picked up his skis, met Grant down the bottom, and he said, "Next time, use your skis." So yeah. So anyway, so that was my thing. We were falling about laughing. I'm not laughing about it now, but it was really, really funny. Yeah. So that's my bad thing. Anyway, I just want to say that's it now. Thanks so much for listening, and please like and subscribe. Practicing Human 360 Health. It means the world to me, and then I know that you like what I'm doing, and it will encourage me to do a little bit more. But thank you. Stay healthy.